Hi and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally Graham. I'm at the 2021 RIU Resurgence Conference in Perth, and I was able to catch up with Anax Metals Managing Director Geoff Laing. Geoff Laing, welcome to the Roadhouse.
Hello Wally, good to be with you.
Okay, so Anax Metals, you acquired a substantial interest in the Whim Creek project, which historically is quite famous, and you're also approaching it with quite a new strategy compared to previous explorers out there. We'll start with the acquisition of the interest in the project. So what have you got there?
Yeah, Wally, that's right. Almost exactly a year ago, we completed a earn-in transaction with the then VentureX. VentureX have subsequently become Develop Global. So it was a traditional earn-in type of transaction, and over the last year we've spent the $4 million to earn our 80% interest, so we now do control an 80% interest in the Whim Creek project.
All right, and the different strategy you're using now, you were just explaining to me before we came on here, so could you just run that through, please?
Yeah, so the Whim Creek mineralisation is typical VMS mineralisation, and the geology of that is highly variable, and that's the opportunity that we see. We're using particle sorting technology to effectively cherry pick the highest grade elements of the deposit, which allows us to high grade the material using that variability and shrink down the scale of processing infrastructure that we need to put on site. And what that does for us is it means that our approach to Whim Creek is quite different to previous developers. So instead of having to chase economies of scale, we're actually shrinking everything down, and we'll be able to build a much smaller concentrator and feed it with much higher grade pre-concentrate.
Okay, so using this new strategy, what have you discovered about the project that's been different?
Well, to give you a sense of, so we've completed a scoping study. In the last year we've come a long way. We've completed a scoping study. We've commenced on a full definitive feasibility study. The scoping study has outlined a project that we'll be able to develop for about $50 million, and it'll deliver about $200 million in free cash flow. So the metrics are very robust, and that's all on the back of being able to shrink down the scale of the processing infrastructure. So it'll be simple open pit mining through a crushing plant, through these ore sorting plants, and then into a traditional but much smaller concentrator, and we'll produce typical copper, zinc and lead separate concentrates, and then they'll be sold into Japan or China. And just to give people a sense of what we've managed to do with this, Anglo-American started having a look at us when we did the transaction, and we've done a deal with them about 6 months ago. They acquired a royalty in the project, so a 1% NSR royalty, and they've now offered to provide 20 million US in funding. So it'll be debt funding, and they'll get the rights to the offtake, which is most unusual for a company of our size to get that level of interest from a major like Anglo.
It's most unusual, but a very nice position
Absolutely,
to be.
we were very pleased to be there.
Yeah, it's very good. All right, well that sounds like we can anticipate some very interesting news coming out in 2022.
Correct. So I guess the flow of news will be, we're going to provide an updated scoping study in the next few weeks. That'll we've got another high grade deposit that we're going to add into the mix, so there'll be some exciting news around that, and then we move into full feasibility through the first half of next year. We do have very good exploration ground as well, so we've been rolling out an extensive exploration program, and I expect that we'll be we're going to start drilling early next year, so there'll be some news flow around the drilling, and then there'll be news flow around the feasibility study, and then we'll move into the financing, and so I guess there'll be news flow around that as well.
Oh, great. Well, we'll be keeping an eye on you, so make sure you let us know what's going on.
We'll certainly be in touch, Wally.
Thanks very much.
All right.